for a while after people would see my show, they might say, that was so fun. And I would be like, fuck you. Like, I was just like, literally, fuck you. Like, what if it was something else? Like, what if it was...
Because you want to be serious and thoughtful and you want people to feel touched. And
I want people to be like, that was gut-wrenching. That was...
devastating.
Devastating. But that's really not me. Like, that's not... Some of my music is really sad. But yeah, my shows are fun. That's literally what I always say when someone asks me, like, oh, what's the dream? I'm like, to sustainably tour and make music for a long time.
And not be subject to this flash in the pan sort of music industry.
Yeah.
Which is what it's kind of, it's an industry built off people working for little to no money.
Yep.
And then when it does happen, it's like a rocket. And then when it doesn't happen, you're on your way down again. Like, that's bullshit. That's BS.
Yeah, totally. And even if it happens and then it stops happening, you know, it's like, I feel like there's moments where it's like, oh, something's begun. And then it kind of chills out for a second and everyone's like, oh, all right. You know, or it's like, what if we just kind of...
Yeah. So have you experienced that? And I know this is kind of like real talk. And I imagine as someone who's been writing songs and leading this project for years, you got to be like, you got to face the mirror every day and be realistic about it.
Yep.
I bet you've had those days where you're like, oh, last week I was on up and on the way up. And like today I feel like I'm not necessarily.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'll even have like, I'm pretty much a lot better about it now, like in terms of sustainability in my emotions. But a few years ago when things started to kind of happen for me, I would have like an hour where I was really up, you know, and then an hour I was like, oh, and then, you know, and just the up and down of it. And it would be like something as like, you know, trivial as how a video I posted performed, you know, that would affect my emotions in such a crazy way. Because it felt like, oh, everyone's like engaged now. And then, you know.
And that's what they want. And look, we're putting this up on Instagram and Spotify and YouTube.
Love it.
But those are the fuckers.
I know.
Those are the people who fucking put the dagger in your heart.
Yeah. And I think that it's, I'm trying to step away from like allowing it to get to me. Because there's much more real things that are worth having that kind of investment in, like the live shows, you know, and making the music and stuff like that. For
sure. What was the last thing that happened that you were like, I feel like I'm touching the grass, like this is real, this is what I do it for? What was the most recent thing?
The London show 2 nights ago. It was my first ever headline over here, or really it was my first London show actually at all, ever playing over here. And I was really nervous before it. I knew that it was going to be a good show, but then I was kind of nervous no one would come, even though like I knew people were coming. And then I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to communicate properly with the audience because of, I don't know, like a difference in culture or something.
Okay.
And I also just never played over here. So I was like, well, I wonder what the crowd's going to be like over here.
You can't picture it.
I couldn't picture it at all. Like in the US at this point, I can kind of picture it and it changes tour to tour. But I was so like, oh, what is it going to be like? And it was the best thing ever.
And you're touring just with your guitarist doing these other shows. And this was the only full band show on this run.
The only full band.
And you hadn't rehearsed until the day of.
The day before. Yeah. We just did 9-hour rehearsal the day before with this bassist and drummer here. Because I was like, damn, we were going to come over here. And, you know, it's so super expensive to tour, of course.
Yeah.
And especially as an indie musician touring internationally for the first time. So I've always wanted to tour over here. And it was like, okay, you can do it. But the first time it's just got to be you and guitarist. But I was like, oh, for the London show, it's got to be full band.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a sold out little club. Like I want it to feel like that.
And that's one of the realities of being an independent artist where you know the money going in and out.
Totally.
You're an adult.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And
which is a new thing for musicians. I mean, at least any kind of biography or rock doc, it's like, you know, the artists are basically acting like children and just follow around. And I feel like that script has flipped now. Mm-hmm. Whereas any artist of all like sizes, if you're headlining 3,000 cap, whatever, you'll have a manager and you might have a team around you, but ultimately it seems to me like you've got to know what's going on.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, you of course need to know what's going on and figure out like where. I mean, I think that it's interesting too because there are other people involved still, but it's figuring out being involved enough to be able to decide how you want to spend your money because there's not a ton of it, right? So to me, like, I think sometimes the things I want to spend money on might vary from the things that the people around me want to spend money on, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of that push and pull. And the only way, I guess, to figure it out is to be aware of it, you know?
You want to get that room full of plushies.
Yes, I want a room full of plushies. Yeah, that's what I'm always saying. I'm like, come on.
What was the first, when you got your first paycheck at your first job, what was the first memorable buy?
I saved up my paychecks. I got my first job when I was 14, and I would kind of save, and then I eventually bought an electric guitar. I bought
Fuck yeah.
I bought an Epiphone Les Paul.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy.
It's really heavy. But that was my first kind of big purchase with the paycheck, I'd say.
Had you played like acoustic guitar before that?
I was only playing acoustic before that. So I don't even really know what inspired me exactly to kind of bite the bullet and get an electric guitar. When I was younger, I had like one of the toy Fender ones. But it's probably when I was like 15, I bought this Les Paul, and I didn't really play it that much when I first got it.
It's scary.
I was scared, and also then it's like I didn't really know anything about pedals or anything like that. So it's just like a raw Epiphone Les Paul into an acoustic amp, you know? It's just like doesn't sound like anything. And then I brought it to college with me when I went to college. And I walked into this. That's when I started listening to like music with maybe more like distortion and stuff like that. And I walked into this music store and I asked them, I played them Masterpiece by Big Thief.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is something you have for $40 that can make my guitar sound like that? And they sold me this Crunchy Frog pedal. And then once I got that, then it was like, okay, I can rip on this Les Paul a little bit more, you know?
All hail the Crunchy Frog.
Yeah, it was, you know, Les Paul through the Crunchy Frog, just the shittiest distortion pedal ever, threw in a tiny acoustic amp. But it kind of, I'm like, I should go back to that setup. There's something about it.
It's interesting that it was that record by Big Thief and not like a big rock record.
Yeah, I think that the thing that got me into rock music was more indie rock music, honestly.
Yeah.
Like also, I don't know if you know the artist Margaret Glaspie. I was listening to Margaret Glaspie and
she's been on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's a bit of a legend, isn't she?
She
like,
is.
because she's been around for a long time.
She has been.
And has kind of, she seems like a bit of a lifer.
She's totally a lifer, and she's so smart about it. I was a really big fan of her when I was in high school. I loved the record, The Motions in Math and everything. And her voice and her lyricism and she's such a great guitarist as well. And then when I first like started, you know, taking meetings with people, someone was able to get me in touch with her. And I got on the phone with her. She was like studying at Harvard at the time, like had gone back to school, like maybe she was 30 or something. And she was just the coolest, smartest person in the world. That's totally a lifer. Like she's just making records, touring records, but she's decided to go back to school and like really live like a very full life. I just think that's cool as fuck.
There's a lot of humility in that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like it's musicians or athletes or comedians or people who are just like on their fucking path. I feel like the best ones, or the ones that I think are the coolest anyway, are the ones that have humility.
Absolutely. Those are, I mean, and that's the sustainable way to do it. I feel like, you know, like I think if you don't, you could kind of hit a wall pretty quick or hit a burnout pretty quick.
So you started learning. Well, you got your frog.
Got my frog pedal.
Pedal.
Yeah.
At college, did you meet friends there that got you into new music? Because especially in that time of your life, when you make a friend and they show you the Velvet Underground or something.
Yeah, I think I did. I did make friends.
It's amazing.
Who got me into, it's the best thing ever. And also when I was in like high school, it was just me. Like I just went to public school as the only musician like in my grade. Like there weren't a lot of other people like writing or making music. And then when I went to college, I went to a music program. So I was surrounded by it all of a sudden. So there were people showing me new things all the time.
Yeah.
And it was just so exciting to be around people making music and everyone like collaborating. And it was my first time playing it like with a band and stuff like that.
Before that, it's kind of, I imagine, almost embarrassing. You know, you tell someone at high school that you play music and they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like forcing my friends to listen to me play like these shitty songs I'm writing, you know?
Yeah.
And go to my open mic nights in the city.
Good on you. I mean, that takes something inside you.
Yeah. I looking back now, I'm kind of like, whoa, that's great. Like that was very bold of me at 16 to be like, all right, y'all, I'm going to play in the city tonight. Like you should all come. Like I was kind of ruthless about it. My friends would show up. It was nice.
So you got good friends.
I had good friends. Yeah.
Because I mean, that is, I feel like in life, and especially if you're doing a project, it's like having a good crew.
Oh yeah.
Having an honest, good, supportive crew.
That's the whole thing. Because if you're not, I mean, I always think that working with friends is higher highs and lower lows. Just because everything means more. But I think that's the thing. Why would you want stuff to not mean so much, you know? Yeah. But yeah, when things are going well, it's the best thing ever to get to travel the world with your friends. I mean, I'm over here with one of my best friends, Eden, who played guitar in my band for a long time, and we made the record together. And just like touring with friends is everything, and making the visuals. I've always made my visuals with some of my best friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing it any other way. I feel like so much of making stuff is, you know, feeling known and knowing the people that you're with, and
feeling known and knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like feeling known by the people you're collaborating with and knowing them in order to make something, and seeing each other.
Yeah.
I think is really important. And I'm learning that more and more as I keep working with new people. And I just, working with your friends is the best thing in the world.
Feels like getting to figure out what you like and what you think is cool. I mean, that's a job in itself, like drilling inside of yourself and not just being like effectively, oh, whatever, after like decision fatigue or something. But actually being like, no, what do I think is cool? And to be surrounded by people that let you do that, and to allow yourself to do that. That's pretty radical. That's quite like a big idea. Yeah.
I mean, taste, I guess, is everything in music. That's what I've kind of realized also in the last year or two. Anytime I'm working with somebody, the only thing that matters is that I think they have good taste. Yeah. You know, like it doesn't even matter if I think they're technically skilled at all. Or not even like good taste, but if our tastes align. Like making the record, I made it with this guy, Caleb, right? And then Eden. And I just think they're both so fucking cool and really nice and really smart. And so when they suggest something, I'm always like, yeah, you're cool as fuck. I think that's awesome. But you know, someone could suggest the exact same thing. And I like, if I don't think they're like cool, like the idea would be like, I'd be like, well, I don't know, you know, but like,
it's the language as well. It's the way that an idea is floated.
Absolutely. And like the intention behind it for sure. But I realized while making the record, like I was like, I just think like Caleb, producer, and Eden, I'm like, I just think y'all are both cool as fuck. So the things that you're suggesting, I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Hell yeah. What about jobs? 101 Part-Time Jobs is the name of the show.
I love that. It's so sick.
It's fucking cool. My fiance made it.
Can I open this?
No.
I'm like nervous. It's like you're...
I said no.
I'm not opening it. I'm not opening it.
No, do you know what it is? It's a bunch of notes that I've written for interviews over the...
Oh my God. Okay. I thought like I was like, oh my gosh, is this like your journal? Like, well, you handed it to me, so I was kind of like,
I had to
do you
stop.
want me to open it?
No, I just want you to admire the cover.
Oh, I love the cover. This is amazing.
I can't journal anymore because I just realized I was writing about the bad things, and
Wow.
I basically like was self-fulfilling prophecy stuff. You know, if I just keep on writing about bad things, then I feel worse.
Yes.
And I've got loads of, you know, I'm lucky, so thankful, loads of cool shit happens in my life.
Yeah.
But I don't write about that.
I kind of just got like chills when you said that. That's so real. When you just write about the bad, it's like going to therapy and you only talk about the bad stuff. I'm kind of on that train with you. Some people are like, you got to get it out. But I'm like, if I just am harping on this bad stuff all the time, that becomes my reality. I think that's cool. So you don't journal.
No, it's bullshit. I'll write out the good times.
That's sick. Things will continue as they begin. I saw a pretty bad play like a few months ago in New York, and the whole thing was bad, but there was that line in it, which I think is probably from something else. And I'm like, oh, the whole play was worth it. Like, I was like, things will continue as they begin. I think about it every single day.
I mean, it's kind of true.
It's so true. It's like true with relationships. I think it's true with building a career too. You know, if you start your career by building stuff in a specific way, you know, whether that's like posting online all the time, that's probably how it will continue. Like, you're not going to get to a point where everyone's going to be like, and that's enough posting online. Like, you can step away from that because now everyone you're working with is counting on that, you know? And
I think about how the quicker things start, the quicker they'll end.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think similar sort of idea.
Totally.
Because that's the energy when it starts, and it's like a thing is that energy of a specific situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Damn. Feels like 3 a.m. in the kitchen.
It does. I'm really getting 3 a.m. in the kitchen.
I haven't done this in a long time.
Really?
Not at 3 a.m. in the kitchen.
Sitting on that's one of my favorites. I just sit right on the kitchen floor, you know. I never shy away from the kitchen floor. If I'm hitting a 3-way, my back up against the cabinets, you know.
What do you do when you walk into a house party? You've gone with 2 or 3 friends. You don't really know anyone else.
Okay.
What do? Do you stick with your friends? Do you go lone wolf and come back to return to Energizer? How do you do it?
I mean, it really depends on my mood and like maybe my level of intoxication. But I like to kind of chop it up with people. I'm not like always sticking with my crew. I think more typically, like, I love the feeling if you go with 2 or 3 people who you're locked with, you know. Everyone is doing their own thing, and
they're not going to mind if you
no one's going to mind, and then you kind of see them and you're like, you know, like you hit like like, I love that. And then you can hit a recap later. But if you're just walking in with people and you're with them the whole time, it's like, okay, what are you going to talk about later, you know? Yeah. We're always together.
That's it. And living it's in New York. That's your spot.
Yeah, I just moved back to New York.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
So what does that look like when, like, after college and you're trying to make music? How does that work?
I lived in Nashville I went to school in Nashville. And then after college, I started touring the month before I graduated. Then I went on like my first like big North American tour opening the month after I graduated, which I feel like was really lucky.
Yeah. Good
like
timing.
It was almost as if I had just started a job. And it was kind of when touring had started to come back after COVID. And so, yeah, I graduated in December and I started touring in January. And I was kind of unsure. I was like, well, maybe I wasn't signed or anything at the time. I was like, okay, maybe I'll get a part-time job when I get back from this like month-long tour. But things just started kind of rolling in a way that worked out, because then after that I did South by in the US, and then I was actually able to go on my first headline tour after that. So it was kind of like I just dove headfirst into touring.
And you're making money on the road, even if it's a little bit, it's enough to psychologically make you feel like you've got income.
Yeah, and at that point I think my rent in Nashville was like $800. Like it wasn't anything insane. And I was living in a giant house.
Loads of people.
3 other people, all musicians.
Great.
Just
4 of you in a big house.
Yeah, because it's Tennessee, so like everyone's just like big house, big yard. I loved that room. I had these like French doors out to the deck. It was also falling apart. Like it was a college rental. And like things would just like fall off the ceiling and the walls at all times.
Yeah, all best places do.
Yeah, it was amazing. I had these floor to ceiling bookshelves built in. Like it was really, really such a great room. But yeah, I ended up just being able to kind of coast like that and tour and make like enough money to pay rent and pay my band.
That's heavy. I mean, that's serious. You can pay yourself and your band.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I was paying either of us. Like,
but just something.
Yeah, no,
you weren't
it was
paying for it.
No, yeah. But then I signed like a distribution deal for an EP. And that's where I was like, that was the first time I like really like had some money. And so since then I really have just been like touring and stuff. And then living in Nashville, which I now looking back really wish I did more subletting of my room because I was gone for so much of those 2 years.
An empty room.
Yeah, just to an empty room. I was just paying rent for no reason. But now I've kind of moved up to New York. And that is a different ballgame in terms of financially. But I do feel like I've waited for a good time to do it.
And we're not going to talk about any illegal subletting here. We're not going to get anyone in trouble. That's
great because I don't have any subletters right now. I don't have a subletter right now. When I was 14, I started working at an ice cream shop in New York, in the town I was in. All organic, like locally sourced ice cream. Best boss ever. Like she's still a mentor to me to this day.
Oh wow! What, you still speaking with her? And like, I mean, having a mentor is good. It's big.
Yeah,
having
I still
someone you can
speak
call
to her like a couple times a month, maybe.
That's awesome.
She's amazing. She lives up in Vermont now, and she's an environmentalist. I just learned so much from her about life, and femininity, and friendships. She's maybe like nearing 60 now, but friendships have always been so present in her life in a way that I feel like she's one of my good friends. And I feel like people in their 50s don't always, center friendships in their life. And she's a mom as well. But she has always had these very strong friendships in a way that I find so cool and something that I really want to have for the rest of my life.
Yeah. You value it.
I really value it. And yeah, she is just like she's an advocate for so many things.
Yeah.
She had me going to all these different protests when I was in school. Like we would protest different pipelines and all different things. She's just like the real deal. She's cool as fuck.
Brilliant. And you ask her about music stuff?
Yeah, sometimes, but she doesn't do any music stuff. I honestly just ask her about life stuff and music stuff because sometimes having someone with that perspective of she just really cares so much about the world and people, and she's really upfront with it. She'll just be like, fuck that. She's just really real, and I feel like she cares about the right things.
Yeah. That's important and rare.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like she cares about people and she cares about the earth. She's never like, the ice cream store was never about like making a ton of money. It was about doing it well, like making sure that everything was done in the exact way that serves the people coming there, the people working there, and the planet, basically.
Yeah.
So, it was like a green business. When we would wash the dishes, like we could use so little water. It was like, it would take us like double the time, but that was the right way to do it, and like there was you know, everything coming in from local farms, or like the way we had to process things because we wouldn't use anything artificial, takes a lot longer, but it's the right way to do it. And I think it did ultimately teach me about building things in a much more sustainable way. And the way that she interacts with the customers. It's not about getting people in and out. Buying ice cream, if someone goes in person to buy ice cream, they're seeking out an experience, you know? Like,
getting ice cream isn't something that you have to do. It's something that you want to do.
Yes.
And it better be fucking good.
And you want to have a good interaction with the person behind the cabinet. Like, you don't want to feel like rushed. You want to talk about the flavors.
You should enjoy it.
Yes. It's not like, I'm always like, a lot of people I know and like a lot of my friends have done barista jobs. I feel like that would stress me out so much more because people need their coffee. No one needs ice cream. You know, like everyone going to get ice cream is getting themselves a treat. And it's like, what a beautiful way to get to interact with people who are like treating themselves.
And they want to be there.
They want to be there. They're in no rush, you know, like they're just there to have this experience. And like, imagine you're just with your friends, like, let's go get ice cream.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, we're having a fun little night. We're just like doing it. But coffee is not that.
Have you taken that into your music? I mean, when you think about a show, people want to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing where it's like, let's go to this show. To me, it's crazy. What a cool thing, especially when people come to like a show of an artist my size. I'm like, that's cool as fuck, especially when they're not musicians. Because of course musicians will go to other musician shows and stuff like that. But I'm always like, that's really cool that I'm touring in Kansas and y'all are like, okay, let's go to the DiRusso show. Like, I'm just like, how did you hear of it? You're having, and people will plan like entire nights or weekends around a show like that and put on an outfit. So it's like, I better put on an outfit and put on a show, you know?
You should do a questionnaire.
I do talk to people after the show, but it is kind of like that. Like all the time. And I've done a few different types of tours now, but I always wanted to feel like more than I'm just going to see like an indie rock gig, you know? Like, I wanted to feel like, wow, I'm going to see a show, and there's different moments to it, and there's an ebb and a flow, and there's a conversation happening between the audience and the band, and there's a conversation happening amongst the band on stage. You know, there's so many things that...
It's communication.
Yeah, it's all communication. One thing I'm interested in, and I think maybe this came from ice cream, this is the difference between coffee and ice cream. I'm interested in letting things be fun. I think that a lot of times we can lose the fun in things. You don't lose the fun in ice cream. Like, ice cream's all about fun. I think that for a while, after people would see my show, they might say, that was so fun. And I'd be like, fuck you. Like, I was just like, literally, fuck you. Like, what if it was something else? Like, what if it was...
Because you want to be serious and thoughtful, and you want people to feel touched. And
I want people to be like, that was gut-wrenching. That was
devastating.
Like, devastating. But that's really not me. Like, that's not... Some of my music is really sad. But yeah, my shows are fun. And I think once I realized that, I went on a tour last year that was a co-headline comedy and music tour. And we had a drag queen.
That's sick.
It was so fun. It was like the best thing I've ever done. In terms of like, I had the best time on that tour because we'd have a drag queen in each city. Then we'd have a local comic that was friends with like the comedian I was headlining with. And then my friend would go, Caleb Heron. He's a comedian in the US. He's, I think, the funniest person alive. He's so fucking funny. And then we would just play a 40-minute set, and then we'd end it with a dance party. So it was like a whole evening. And during that, it was like, we were just playing up.
Dance party.
Yeah, we would play like Since You've Been Gone, you know, and we would just get everyone dancing. Like, and the whole point of that night was honestly to have fun. And after that, I was kind of like, that is like a thing about my show that I've really shied away from. But I think it's like kind of from the things I have to offer, the most powerful thing I have to offer. So I think leaning into it being a fun show is something that I'm working on, and creating like a fun night rather than, and don't get me wrong, I love going to a devastating show. I cry at almost every concert I go to, and I love to just feel like, knife twisted. But I think it's really nice to go to a show and just like allow yourself to have fun.
It's nice to know who you are.
Yeah, and I guess it's always just getting closer to that, right?
Hell yeah. Hey, great chat. This is good.
This is awesome.
Why do you think you play music? Why do you think you do it? Where do you think it comes from?
It feels very inherent, very natural in a lot of ways. And then in some ways, of course, it feels like I'm trying to, and uh no one in my family does music. But my dad like loves Frank Sinatra. So I was like, definitely, he's like totally New York. He loves Frank Sinatra and the New York Yankees and making sauce on Sundays.
Yeah.
Want
to hang out with him.
He's a real vibe. He's a real vibe. But yeah, I'm kind of as it goes in my life. I feel like I don't really confront much of what's happening. And I feel like if I didn't write songs, I really wouldn't be very introspective in terms of really admitting to myself everything that I'm feeling and what's going on. So maybe it is a necessity thing, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way that I'm able to be honest with myself. And that's something that I've kind of realized over the last few years. But I think that that's why my music is so specific and so journal like and honest, I guess. That's what I'm attracted to in music. And I think I'm really attracted to that in my own music, but I'm really attracted to that in other people's music is when I feel like there's honesty. And maybe that's why I do it. It just has always been the thing that made sense to me. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And it's a really silly thing to be like, every time I think about it, I'm like, that is silly as hell. Like,
I don't think it's silly. Is it silly having feelings about something? Is it silly being who you are? I mean, like, life is silly, yeah, but I mean, my philosophy is like, grab it by the horns and like see it for what it is. It's funny, it's silly, it's sad, it's serious, it's all of those things. We're made of multitudes, right?
Absolutely. And doing this, you kind of get to see more of them. And that's kind of, I think sometimes I feel like it's silly that like I'm a singer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
because no one told you to do it. You weren't necessarily like brought up or taught to be that.
No, I never was taught to be that. I just always loved to sing growing up. And then I started writing songs and I like loved to write songs. And it just ended up always being the thing that I was going to do. Like I was just, since high school, like I have this very clear passion. And I didn't really ever question it. And now I'm really grateful to that younger version of myself. But I think it is funny to me that I get to do it. Like I get to be a musician. And yeah, I feel like it's really full on in a lot of ways. And I'm learning all the time of how to manage that. But I feel like if I didn't do it, I would be living like a shrouded life. Like I wouldn't really have allowed myself to see it, see it all. And I feel like I'm trying to keep the eyes open,
Hell yeah. I think that's something we should all do, whether you write songs or whether someone paints or writes poetry or just plays tennis. I don't know. Like I've started doing a thing with my friends with a Wednesday club because the Wednesday was the day we would hang out after work, but now everyone's still separated geographically.
Okay.
But we do a Wednesday waffle. So it might end up being on Thursday or Friday, but people do a face to camera.
Yeah.
And say how they feel and what they've been doing. And it's like such a small thing. Sounds kind of even silly again, but it's like, that is it's big. I feel it to my heart. I'm like, I get to know my friends. And then in the other way that you share your things, share your problems, something bad happened, something good happened, you share it all together. There's like, that is
amazing.
That is life.
That's what it's about. Yeah. And like, how many people are on the call?
5. It's not a call. You do a voice, you do a video. You do a video and send it to the group.
And you send it in the group.
Yeah.
That's
Everyone's
so
busy.
Awesome. Yeah, that rocks.
And I think everyone can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and writing songs is yours. My mum writes books.
Cool.
You know, it's like, I see that in her. My brother and sister do their own things, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think everyone should do it.
Absolutely.
Art makes the world a better place.
I think so. It would. Yeah, I can't even imagine what it'd be like without it. It's the kind of the thing.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much for the time. You're going to get the train up to Scotland pretty soon.
Yeah, we're going to get the train to Scotland.
Train's the best way to travel.
I love the train. And
you look out the window.
New York, it's like, that's the way to go. It's easy.
Yeah.
You just know it's going to get there, you know?
Yeah. And it's better than flying. You don't have to fucking wait around in a stuffy room with no air.
And do all the crazy security for 2 hours. Just like,
I have to pull out all my fucking ninja stars.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Bullshit.
Like so many ninja stars. I'm pulling them out. Yes, I can't stop. Yeah.
Just to end with, what's the biggest work gaff, the most memorable work gaff that you've made in your life?
What's a gaff?
Like a mistake.
Oh, okay.
But also in England, a gaff is a house.
Oh, really?
It's like your yard. It's kind of like slang for say my yard, my house. But
like back at my gaff.
Back at your gaff, yeah.
Okay, word.
My gaff is like this. But what's the like a good mistake? What's the time that you've put your foot in it? And you've embarrassed yourself. Should be funny. I don't want this to be sad. I've had some answers that are quite sad, and my producer's like, we should stop doing that.
No, I don't have. I mean, it's ice cream, so none of it's that sad.
Yeah.
But. Well, I was 14 when I started working, so it's like my first job. Like, of course, I don't really know how to do a lot of things. Yeah. You know, like hiring a 14-year-old's a real bargain. Like
14-year-old's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, 14-year-olds are idiots. Like I didn't even know really. Like it would take me like hours to sweep the floor. Like it was just like I was a ridiculous thing.
Asking questions about everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then if I didn't ask a question, I would do something horribly wrong. So that was it.
Could be in music as well, though. I guess like. That's more serious because it like affects your life. But I guess maybe live things fuck up and you miss planes, miss transport links.
Yeah, I've missed planes before. I can't think of like a huge mess up for music, probably because I've blocked out the stressfulness of that. Back in high school, though, when I worked at the ice cream store, we would do stupid shit all the time by accident. Like one time I was training someone and she put all the ice cream back in the fridge instead of the freezer. And so like hundreds of dollars of ice cream got lost. One time when we closed, me and my best friend, also I worked with a bunch of my best friends at the ice cream store, which is kind of the best. I'm still really good friends with the people I worked with at the ice cream store in high school. Like we had a reunion dinner like a few weeks ago where we all just like made dinner and chatted and went around and did our life updates, kind of like the Waffle Wednesday. And it's just so beautiful. But one time like me and Loretta, my best friend, I think, left the gas on all night, like out of the gas stove. And people would do that sometimes as like idiot 14-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Lisa, the boss, would just have to be like, guys, because that's like the building's gonna blow up. Like any kind of spark will blow up the building. So we would do stupid ass shit. Like it is like crazy to have 14-year-olds running. Because we're the ones locking up at the end of the night.
That's a lot of trust to have. Like, I blame the adult personally.
Yeah, it is. But she was like, because that trust was put in us, and we all cared so much because she really cared, and we all really cared about her. And the business there was just so much care all around that I took it really seriously. Like, I would spend an hour and a half closing, even though we only had like 30 minutes, because I was like, I really want this to be good. But yeah, I still end up doing stupid shit like that, you know?
So you care. You care about what you do.
Oh my God, I care so much. If you don't care about what you do, I think there's some people that think, I'd actually be interested to know what you think. Some people think like, maybe it's good to not care that much. And then like you could just go home and then you could care about home and care about like the stuff around you, you know, like working like a job during the day and then you have your nights and you're not like stressed. What do you think?
I think it's good to be intentional about the things that you want to do. There's plenty of things that we don't want to do that we have to do.
Sure, like at a job.
Yeah, it could be a job. It could be, I mean, I don't like paying rent. I don't like clicking the send button on my mobile banking, but I have to do it. And even that, I suppose I do with intention, because I'm like, I know I have to do it. I think it's to do things with intention. And I think the more you put into life, the more you get back from it. Not that that's a reason to put more into it, but it's just what happens. And I think the more you care about life, the more life will look out for you.
Yeah. That's really awesome.
But I think it's true. And I don't think that's that profound. I think it's just, that's what it is.
If you put care in, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking about that. I'm chewing on it. I'm like, okay.
Sorry, I'll let you chew.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. I'll chew on it later. Hey, I'll chew on it later.
I'm going to ask you a really cheesy question. I bet loads of people have asked you this, but I like a good-ass movie. I'll tell you a good-ass movie that I just started watching is Sleepy Hollow.
Okay, I've never seen Sleepy Hollow.
Tim Burton movie. And who's the fucking actor? I'm so bad with names. He's the guy that just got into it's like an awful domestic court case with him, and he was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'd be good in that game. We'd be good in that, that dinner game.
Yeah.
Who am I talking about? With the name on the
domestic violence court case. Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's good. Got that quick.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
I got it.
Great film, and his name's Ichabod.
Okay.
Which me and my partner decided that's our next pet is going to be called Ichabod.
So you're going to name it after the Johnny Depp character?
Hey, don't put it like that. He's a fictional character.
Okay.
Right.
Sleepy Hollow is like a town right near where I grew up.
It's an actual town.
Yeah. And they do like a really crazy haunted thing during Halloween. Like it's a really,
That's pretty fun.
I've never gone though. I don't really like
what was the last just fucking good movie? Because there's so many out there.
There are so many.
And I also apologize for doing the cheesy question.
No, that's a good one. On the plane over here, I slept for almost the whole thing, and then I saw the TV Glow.
Okay.
Which is like
with Mark Maron and Kate Nash. It's on Netflix. It was the wrestling show.
No. That's Glow.
Oh.
That's a wrestling show. This is I Saw the TV Glow. It's
I Saw the TV Glow.
I Saw the TV Glow. Yeah. It's a film that came out last year. Okay, wait, British when I said film. I said it's actually a film that came out last year. And it's like I think it's just like an A24 movie. But a lot of people have been telling me to watch it, and I finally watched it. And the soundtrack is awesome. Snail Mail's in it.
Hell yeah.
Phoebe Bridgers is in it for a period. And I don't know. It's really cool. So that was really good. Trying to think if there's something else.
It's on the spot. Do you know what? I feel like there's did you ever walk into a record store thinking about what you're going to buy, and you go in there and you've completely forgotten?
Yeah, and then you're just with a million records.
That is a phenomenon, I think. It's got to be.
Oh, for sure.
And I feel like it's the same with films. I mean, this is a difficult question.
Well, every night on stage, I do this thing where I go around and I say, like, I introduce the band. I introduce them all as Annie DiRusso. And then I say, like, and Annie's favorite movie. And I think of a movie on the spot. But as soon as that part happens, I'm like, it's like I've never seen a movie in my life. Like, it's like, I can't think of a single movie. But you know what?
You say that in the song as well.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't really think of one off the top of my head. Like, I just can't. Like, it's when it gets to that. I recently rewatched Kicking and Screaming.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, is a perfect movie. Have you seen Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell?
No, but I will now.
Amazing, movie about soccer.
Hell yeah.
And he coaches his kid's soccer team. It's so fucking funny.
Anything with Will Ferrell is good.
It's so, you're going to love it.
Hell yeah. I just noticed, do you like my socks?
Yeah, I noticed those pretty early on. I love the boob socks.
Yeah. I got them from my partner's sister, which makes it not creepy.
Yeah, that's actually ideal.
Just put it out there.
No, that's ideal. That's the ideal situation for this. Partner's sister, yeah.
Or toes. But boobs. I mean, come on.
I never saw toes. I've never thought those were toes once this whole time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to chat.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Cheers for watching. This is 101 Part-Time Jobs. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast apps. We've done interviews with Aurora, Kneecap, Idols, Lauren Maybury of Churches, and loads more. So tap into 101 Part-Time Jobs on Spotify, Apple, and all podcast apps.